If you told me 18 months ago that I would very rarely drink lager, I'd say you're crazy. I'd say you're off your rocker. But that is the truth. I hardly drink lager. So today we're going to be reviewing a lager. This is Shang-A-Lang. It's a Motueka Lager, 4.5%, and it is from Twisted Wheel even brewery. But what's it going to be like? Keep on watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. And yeah, something different on the channel today. We're going to review a lager. We hardly ever review lager, but this is a Mouteka Lager. And I do quite like Mouteka hop, you know, usually in hazy IPAs, but this one's in a lager. It's called Shang-A-Lang. It's by, what did I call it before? Turning Point. It's not Turning Point, it's Twisted Wheel. Twisted Wheel Brewery. Not many beers, but I picked this up from my local bottle shop. And basically this is an unfiltered, unrefined and deliberately good, always serve cold and drink fresh. It is obviously it's a lager, but it's got Mouteka hop in it, and it's got German Pilsner malts in it. So let's crack this open, see what it's like, see what it's up to. You know, obviously I'm expecting something more like an India Pale Lager sort of thing, you know, something a little bit more of a hybrid. I mean, Mouteka is a sort of New Zealand hop. It's quite citrusy, it's got lime and everything else in it. So I'm interested to see how it's going to be in a lager. I mean, as you can see from there, I mean, it looks a bit darker in the screen, but to me, it's quite light, but very sort of hazy, very sort of unfiltered for a lager. Carbonation moving up quite quickly. We've got literally a 2-finger soapy head. Looks, you know, I'd say it looks like lager. I mean, head-wise it does, but it's got this much more unfiltered haze to it. So let's see what it smells like. Yeah, I mean, in terms of lagers, it's definitely got a different type of aroma. You're not getting that sort of bready, malty sort of aroma. You are getting those citrus notes, very sort of quite high up, you know, quite predominant really in that aroma. Yeah, I mean, it's not as citrusy as a lot of, say, IPAs or pale ales can be, but there's definitely a big twang of citrus, and that makes it quite different really. It hasn't got that sort of maltiness, that bready, that sort of cracker aroma. I'm getting a lot more citrus, but let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. I think the big takeaway for me with this is that for a lager, it's got a very sort of soft and very low levels of carbonation. You know, expect with a lager to be quite a lot of carbonation, quite fizzy, you know, lots going on, zinging around in your mouth, quite cutting and fresh. But this almost drinks like more like a pale ale. Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. It's an unfiltered, sort of quite soft lager, but there's more flavour. The malts are starting to come through now, but there is that sort of hit of lime, lemon. There's a little bit more citrus about it. And to be honest, you know, this would be a beer that I would have quite enjoyed even more 18 months ago when I was first sort of, you know, taking those sort of very small steps into craft beer. It's a good example of a craft lager that's does a little bit more different than your normal sort of Foster's, Carling, you know, even Peroni. Yeah, I mean, it drinks really easy. It's because of the carbonation being quite low. The malts are starting to come through a little bit more, and the fruitiness there's a fruitiness about it, but it's not fruity like IPAs are. It's just still got that sort of light, malty sort of flavour with sort of just subtlenesses of hints of really a bit of lemon and another citrus sort of fruits in there. It's not bad, and it's quite different than your sort of normal lagers. I mean, you'd pour this out in a glass and you'd think, well, it doesn't really look like a lager. It's not as fizzy as a lager. It doesn't taste, it's got certain maltiness tastes of a lager, but it's quite removed from a lager. It's no one has got shot there. It's New Year's Eve, so the fireworks are going off, even though it's not even anywhere near close to midnight. I don't know why they're going off now. But anyway, so excuse the fireworks in the background. Yeah, so I've lost my train of thought. So as I say, it's a very untraditional type of lager, unfiltered, low levels of carbonation, got a fruity, citrusy sort of flavour. The maltiness is there, but not as malty. But you know, if you drink normal sort of supermarket lagers and you drink this, it is a world away from it. It's quite different, and I think that's got to be applauded. Really, it's pretty good actually. It's closer to more of the pale ales and IPAs that I drink. It's very not like a lager. It almost tastes like it's got a lager with something else in it. That's what it tastes like to me. You know, if you have like a sort of Mexican and Spanish beer, Corona even, you put a bit of fruit in it. It's almost those sort of flavours, really. That's what you're getting from this. It's not bad at all. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for the Shang-A-Lang. This is a Motueka Lager, 4.5% from the Twisted Wheel Brew Company. Yeah, this is quite a different sort of lager than your normal sort of lagers. It's quirky, it's different, and it's very pleasant, very easy to drink. So, but firstly, aroma. Well, I mean, most of the times you put a lager in a glass and you just put your nose to it and you go, yeah, malty, sort of bready, very crisp. If you're lucky, you may get slight citrus notes, but with this, you're not getting that sort of big malty backbone. You're not really getting that real clean, fresh sort of aroma. You know, that almost non-existent aroma. You're getting a much more citrus in this lager than most lagers. So it smells pretty good for a lager. I'm giving it 13 for aroma. Yes, you get better aromas in IPAs, but for a lager, this has got quite a good aroma. So I'm giving it 13. Appearance-wise, well, it's definitely an unfiltered, unrefined, hazy lager, if that's such a thing. Not much in terms of a head, really. So the head disappears quite quickly. But it's a nice looking colour. It's a nice looking beer. I'm giving it 8 out of 10. Flavour-wise, well, like the aroma, you don't get those, you know, the malty sort ofness of a lager, that crisp, biting, cutting, very carbonated sort of feeling in the mouth when you really drink a lager. You know, sometimes it can be always cut the throat because the carbonation is so big in the mouthfeel. But with this, the carbonation is quite sort of dialed back, soft almost. It's got those citrusy flavours that are much bigger in the flavour than that maltiness. The maltiness is still there, but not so much as those sort of crisp, fruity, citrusy flavours. For a lager, there's a lot more going on than most lagers that you probably ever drank before. So I'm going to 33 for flavour. Value for money. This was, I mean, usually craft lagers are a lot cheaper. You know, you can pick them up for £3.50. You're not spending more than that. This was about £3.50. So, you know, for a craft beer, that's pretty cheap. But for a craft lager, maybe not so much. But I think it's got a lot more going for it. So I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10 for value. And my overall experience of this beer, well, I don't drink much lager. And so I don't buy much lager. I mean, you know, there's always sort of lager in the fridge, but it's usually, you know, the Audi lager that I buy, the 1539 Pilsner or Peroni or something like that. And it's nice to have because it's crisp and you can just drink lots of them, really. This, though, has got a lot more going for it. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I definitely would buy this again. I mean, I do like Mouteka as a hop. I've had it in IPAs. Polly's recently did a Mouteka single hopped IPA. I didn't review it on the channel, but it was a very good beer. And this has got, you know, although it's not as sort of strong in those sort of fruit tropical flavors, it's definitely got a lot more citrus in it than most lagers, and I think it's pretty good, you know, in terms of the fact that it gives the drinker more than they usually would expect from a lager. There's a lot more to it, more flavor, and it goes down really well. I'm giving it 14 for overall experience. Tighten those scores up, we get a solid 76. So it's a recommended beer, this Shang-A-Lang Mouteka Lager. I think it's pretty good. I've never seen a Mouteka Lager before, but I think it's a very good example of what I would call a proper craft lager, really, in terms of the fact that it's unfiltered. It's probably the best sort of lager that I've had since the Don Zacco Big Phone, and that was a really good lager, and that was unfiltered and similar to this. Maybe didn't have those sort of citrusy notes, but this, you've got to commend this for doing something different with lager and making it a little bit extra, a little bit more special than your sort of normal sort of lagers. So let me know if you've had you know, what's your favourite craft beer lager, because we don't review many on the channel, and I'm going to make a change to that. I'm going to hope to do more lagers. I mean, it's, for me, lager's definitely a more summery drink, but yeah, when I started this channel, I thought I'm going to find all these great craft lagers, but I sort of very quickly went on to IPAs and really sort of stuck to them, really, because I just find them, you know, just exactly what I want to drink. But this is a good change for me. So, Mouteka Lager from Twisted Wheel Beer Company. I don't really know much about them. I've not really reviewed any of their beers before. Let me know if there's other beers by them that are good. And I think that'll be enough reviews for this New Year's Eve. I've done a couple today, but I think any more I'm going to start slurring and not making any sense. I'm probably not making sense as it is now. Hope you've enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. Happy New Year again to you. I mean, I've probably said that in the last video, that you may be a day or so behind, but to me it was about an hour ago. So until the next one, you know what you're going to do. Keep on rocking.